Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, their first public outing in over a year. TTS, optimized version. Here's a story that has Hollywood buzzing. Will and Jada Pinkett Smith just made their first public appearance together in nearly a year, and honestly, it matters way more than you'd think. So picture this. September 6, 2025. Will and Jada are spotted at Nobu in Malibu. It's the first time paparazzi have caught them together in about 10 months. The last time? November 2024 at Crossroads Kitchen in Calabasas. And here's what caught everyone's attention. They looked genuinely happy, relaxed, smiling. Will was even carrying Jada's bag. 10 days later, they're out again at Baldy in Beverly Hills, just 2 days before Jada's 54th birthday. Now you might be thinking, okay, so what? Celebrities go to restaurants all the time. But here's why this is actually a big deal. Let's rewind to October 11th, 2023. Jada sits down with People magazine and NBC's Today Show and drops an absolute bombshell. She reveals that she and Will have been separated since 2016. Yeah, you heard that right. 2016. That's 7 years before she even told anyone. They're still legally married, no divorce plans. But they've been living completely separate lives. In her own words, we're still figuring it out. We've been doing some really heavy-duty work together. We just got deep love for each other, and we are going to figure out what that looks like for us. Think about that for a second. For 7 whole years, this couple showed up to events together, smiled for cameras, let everyone think everything was fine, and the whole time they were separated. The wildest part? They were at the 2022 Oscars together. You know, that night. The night that became one of the most controversial moments in Academy Awards history. March 27, 2022. The 94th Academy Awards. Chris Rock is presenting, and he makes a joke about Jada. Something about G.I. Jane, too, poking fun at her shaved head. Now, what Chris didn't really emphasize was that Jada has alopecia areata. It's an autoimmune disorder that causes hair loss, something she'd been openly talking about since 2018. And then it happened. Will walks up on stage and slaps Chris Rock right across the face. He goes back to his seat and yells, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." The whole room is in shock. But the night isn't over. Later that same evening, Will wins his very first Academy Award for Best Actor in King Richard. During his acceptance speech, he apologizes to the Academy and his fellow nominees. But notice who he doesn't apologize to. Chris Rock. The fallout was intense. Will resigned from the Academy on April 1, 2022. He got hit with a 10-year ban from all Academy events. But here's the kicker. When Jada came clean in 2023, she revealed they'd already been separated for 6 years when the slap happened. So the man who went on stage to defend his wife had actually been living a separate life from her since 2016. Wild, right? But their story has always been unconventional. Let's go back to the beginning. 1994. Jada auditions for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She doesn't get the part because they said she was too short. But she meets Will. Problem is, he's married to his first wife, Sheree Zampino. Fast forward to late 1995. Will's divorce is finalized. Less than a week later, he calls Jada and asks, "Are you seeing anyone?" She says no. His response? "Cool, you're seeing me now." They get engaged in November 1997, and literally the next day, they find out Jada's pregnant. They tie the knot on December 31, 1997, in Baltimore, Maryland. Jada's 3 months pregnant at the wedding. But years later, in 2018 on Red Table Talk, Jada admits something pretty shocking. "I was so upset that I had to have a wedding. I was so pissed. I went crying down the freaking aisle getting married." She never wanted to get married in the first place. She felt pressured by her mom and the pregnancy. Together, they raised 3 kids. There's Trey, Will's son from his first marriage, born in 1992. Then Jaden, born in 1998. And Willow, born in 2000. For over 20 years, they looked like the perfect Hollywood power couple. Even when things got messy, like in 2020 when news broke about Jada's relationship with singer August Alsina during her separation from Will, they kept presenting a united front. When Jada finally announced their 2016 separation in 2023, She said something really telling. "I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise. So now we're back to September 2025. Will is 56. Jada is 53. And there they are at Nobu. Smiling. Relaxed. Will's carrying her bag. These are two people who've been legally married since 1997, separated since 2016, and somehow they're still showing up for each other. Look, these aren't just random celebrity sightings. This is the latest chapter in one of Hollywood's most complicated relationships. We're talking about a couple who completely redefined what marriage can look like. They've been brutally honest about their struggles. And they're still trying to figure out what their version of love means, even when it doesn't look like anyone else's. Are they working toward getting back together? Are they just maintaining the deep friendship Jada talked about? Honestly, we don't know. But here's what we do know. After nearly 3 decades together, through scandals, separations, and incredibly public struggles, Will and Jada are still writing their story.